Hello, here's some help with the mild section of week 8, how to answer these questions from graphs, tables, and equations. Mr. Erickson loves cookies. He keeps the cookies in a giant jar on his kitchen counter. Each of the 3 problems examines a different year. Please notice that x is going to represent the number of weeks. The variable y is going to represent the total number of cookies in the jar. First question, how many cookies did Mr. Erickson have at the start? Start in a table always corresponds to an x value of 0. So in week 0, how many cookies did I have? What was happening to Mr. Erickson's cookies every week? Well, look at the pattern. Here are weeks happening. Here's the first week, second week, third week. What continues to happen as a pattern to the number of cookies? Am I eating cookies so the jar is getting smaller, or am I gaining cookies? I'm putting cookies in the jar. What is happening? To make an equation that represents this situation, we're going to use Desmos. I've already entered in the table, and I have a first guess. This is often the first guess students will have. You can see that this is not the correct answer because the line does not pass through the points on the graph. Here is an answer from last week. Someone said, hey, when x is 1, so 1x, y is 215, 215y, and then they said equals, and they picked some crazy number. If I make this turn out to be red, you can see that line showing up right here along the bottom of the screen. Clearly not the correct answer because it does not pass through these green points. So you can keep experimenting. I'll give you a giant hint. None of the equations of this form, where x and y are together on the same side of the equation, is going to work well here. You're going to want an equation that starts with y, which is total number of cookies, is equal to something going on over here. This is a 2-part problem, so you're going to need more than just a coefficient in front of x. Hopefully your work in the last couple of weeks will give you some hints about what that might look like. Here's another crazy guess. People are lost and not thinking. Say, hey, 200 is another number. Again, the line does not pass through all the green points, so it's not correct. I hope that gives you some help in beginning your guessing sequence. Back to the worksheet. How many weeks after the start will Mr. Erickson have 350 cookies? You can use the table and just keep going. You could use your equation if you find that it's correct and plug in the number 350 for y, which is the number of cookies, and solve for x. Or you could use your graph and extend the graph until it hits 350 cookies. In problem number 2, the questions are exactly the same, but we're starting from a graph this time. If we look at the first question, how many cookies did Mr. Erickson have at the start? Remember, we have start means at week 0. So how many cookies do I have at week 0? What's happening to my cookies every week? Well, here's the first week. I have 100 cookies. Here's the second week. I have 125 cookies. Here's the third week. I have 150 cookies. Can you figure out what's happening every week? What equation represents the cookie situation? You could again use Desmos until your graph looks a lot like this graph in front of you on this screen. After how many weeks will I have 350 cookies? Again, you can use this graph to find your answer. You could use your equation, or you could make a table to help you find the solution. Once you've done those 2 parts, part 3 should be really simple. I would like you to notice, however, this time I am eating cookies, not putting cookies back into the jar. So that's going to mean I am losing cookies. What math operation is eating or losing cookies? Finally, for the bonus, when will I have no cookies? Well, that always happens. This last problem too. I will have no cookies when this y-axis comes down to 0. Here I'm at 50 cookies. Here I'm at 100 cookies. Here I'm at 0 cookies. Good luck answering those 2 bonus questions.